So, David, you've spent your life in science and medicine and with a real focus on performance, human performance, sports performance, and searching for how do we make it better.
I think KURK probably has another role in terms of moderating inflammation, in terms of the sort of lifestyles we're leading. It's very different to the person who's got a 9 to 5 or even works part-time and is trying to then do sport on the side. For me, then it's about managing everything that isn't training more than it is about managing training. And I think many people get it wrong there.
One of the big breakthroughs, I suppose, in my field, which is sort of martial arts, is the use of electrolytes, even during training. We've now combined electrolytes with micellar curcumin, which is our main active, the micellar part of curcumin that gets it in the bloodstream. And the whole goal of this product is to allow people to train.
It's ubiquitous use of electrolytes in all endurance sports. As you mentioned, MMA is huge as well. And their consumption in daily life is increasing as well. I think partially because people don't like water, if I'm being completely honest. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It's like, you know, if we need to drink more fluids and this is what we have to do it, then great. I think curcumin is really interesting because it's much less aggressive. I think KURK probably has another role in terms of the sort of lifestyles we're leading. For most people, most of their load and their stress and their inflammation comes from everything that isn't training. You become 30, you become 35 or whatever, and you start to see like, oh, families are a thing and work is a priority. You don't have a lot of control over work hours or stress as a result of that, or extended sitting.
I've got arthritic in the neck and the fingers and the hip a little bit from rugby, and then obviously got some nerve damage from cancer treatment. So there's all these little things I carry, but I'm not going to stop training because I know stopping training is actually worse.
I pretty meticulously track things like HRV and sleep and all that. The thing that will move the needle on my recovery, make it worse, is absolutely not to do with any training or workout.
You've done a lot in rugby, you've done a lot in lifting and all of those.
I've run marathons, ultramarathons. That stuff barely moves the needle on my HRV, but 6, 7, 8 back-to-back Zoom calls in a day, and I'm in the gutter, right, from an HRV perspective. So for me, then it's about managing everything that isn't training more than it is about managing training.
My little sleep thieves that really get in the way there.
Yep. I think in those folks, we often focus in and double down on training and recovery from training, when the reality is most of their load and their stress and their inflammation comes from everything that isn't training. Everything that's helping might be training. And I think there's this other interesting thing in the endurance sport world at the moment where the people are just trying to add load, right? They're just trying to do more and more, right? The thought is like, if some's good, then more is better. There's that statement, like everyone's got the same 24 hours in a day. It's like, you don't. You don't when you're older.
No, and then you also got less testosterone, less growth hormone, and then you're carrying a lot of the wounds of those 20s.
Exactly.
So when you meet people and they find out your background, what's the most common question you get?
Oh, it'll almost certainly be like my opinion. In a sporting context, it'll be my opinion on some training thing. And if they're non-sports people, there won't be too much. Then there'll be like some other question that'll come up from time to time on health, or, you know, every now and again you'll get someone who's like, oh, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen in medicine? And I certainly get that one a lot. I think the huge problem we have is a knowledge-action gap. There's a huge difference between what we know and what we do. I don't think there's a lack of knowledge. Like, we've never had more knowledge in the world. I don't think that I hold any special knowledge.
I'm drawn to the very simple concept so many times in my life. You got to rely on discipline, not motivation. There's motivation that comes and goes. Discipline means I'm going to do it. So, David, thanks for coming in today. Obviously, you're a man of science. You're a man of medicine. The specific focus on human performance is something that you've fascinated me with. So thanks for coming in. I appreciate your help.
No, thanks for having me.